Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back. In this particular video, we are going to understand about the session and token, the difference between session and token. Now, first of all, let us understand that why do we need this session or token? When a user log in into the system, we need to maintain that particular piece of information, right? And why we need to maintain that piece of information? Because if we will not maintain that information, then user will have to again and again enter the credentials, and then user can access the website. So we don't want that kind of user experience. We want that once user is logged in into the system, then um, user can easily access the website, okay, without re-entering the credentials, right? So that is why we need some way, we need uh, something to maintain that particular piece of information, and that's where this session and session or token comes into the frame. Now first let us understand about the session, that how session is used to maintain this information of the currently logged in user, right? So we have the client, and first client will send the login request to this server, and this server is going to create the session and it is going to save it in the database, okay? And after that the server is going to return this session id with header set cookie. That means this client needs to store this particular session id inside the cookie. And why this client is storing this particular session id? Because whatever request after this login journey will be sent from this client to server, it will include that cookie. Eventually it will include this session id, right? So that is why this client is storing this session id inside the cookie. Okay, so this request will now include the session id or the cookie, and it will go to the server. Then the server is going to look up for that session id. It is going to look for that session id inside this session database, and if the session id is present in this database, that means the user is currently logged in. Otherwise it will simply redirect the client to login page, right? So this is how the session is used to maintain the information of the currently logged in user. You see that over here the server is actually maintaining the list. Basically it is maintaining the state of itself, okay, with the help of this session database. It is trying to store the list of currently logged in user, right? Now let's see that where problem comes. So when we try to scale this particular architecture, okay, so we have this group 1, group 2, group 3, right? We have three different groups, and in this in these groups we have multiple users, okay? So let's say this group 1 is using this server 1, and this group 2 is using server 2, and similarly group 3 is using server 3, okay, right? Now each of these servers have this have their own session storage, okay? They have their own session storage, right? Now suppose this server 1 goes down, this server 1 goes down, and all the traffic from this group 1 is redirected to the server 2, okay? The traffic is redirected to server 2, right? Now what will happen is that when request will be received from group 1 to this server 2, then this server is going to look up for the session id. It is going to look up for the session id inside this database too, which is uh, connected to this server 2, right? Now it will not be able to find those session id because the information of this group 1 session is stored in this database 1, right? So what will happen? Eventually all the users that are in this group 1 will be logged out. They will again have to enter the credentials, and they have to again log in into the system, right? And this is not kind of a good user experience, because suppose you are, let's say, on some shopping website, and you are trying to buy a limited stock product, Okay, you have added that product in your cart, and you are on the payment processing page, right? And right at that moment, this server goes down. Okay, the server goes down, and all the traffic from this group 1 is redirected to the server 2. And when the server 2 will look for the ID, session ID, it will not find that session ID, and it will simply redirect to your login page. And you have to again log in into the website and create the session with this server 2, and then you can then you have to again add the product and proceed for the payment. Now, in between uh, all these activities, what can happen is that that product was actually limited stock product, and it can go out of stock, right? So that you don't want. So basically, this is the con of this particular uh, architecture, this session based architecture, right? So we have discussed about the con, that it is hard to scale. Okay, and if we discuss about the advantage, so suppose if you want to revoke all the session, you want that all the current session to be end, then what you can do is you can simply remove all those sessions from the database, and uh, the users will be logged out from the device. Okay, so you have one uh, control that you can simply turn on the switch, and all the users will be revoked. So this is kind of a, you can say, advantage of this particular architecture, right? So this is how this session things work. Now let's see how this token is used to maintain the information of the currently logged in user, and how it is going to solve the problem of scaled session architecture, right, that we have seen right now. So let's see, let us first understand that how this token works, and then after that we are going to understand about the scaling thing. Okay, now we have the client. So this client is going to send the login request to this authentication server, right? So you can see that we have this new thing, that is the authentication server, and it will client will send the login request to this authentication server, and it is going to return one token. It is going to return one token, and this token will be signed with some secret key. Okay, so that secret key is with this authentication server, and it is going to use that secret key to sign this particular token and return it back to client. Now, after that, whatever request this client is going to send, it is going to use that particular token. So it is going to send the token along with this request, like we were sending the session ID. Okay, I see that this request is not going to this authentication server. It is directly going to this resource server, and this resource server either can use this authentication server to verify the token for validating the token, or it can verify the token itself also. That we are going to see. Okay, so after validating the token, it will simply find the resource, and it will return the resource to client, right? So this is how this token thing work. We have two different entities over here, that is the authentication server and the resource server, right? So this authentication server is basically having, you can say, two responsibilities. One is for generating the token, and another one, if you are using it for validating. So it can also have the functionality responsibility for validating the token, right? So we have two different entities: authentication server, resource server, right? Now let's see that when we try to scale this, how this architecture perform if we compared it to session scale architecture. Now again, we have the three groups. Okay, group 1, group 2, group 3. Then we have three instances of resource server and only two instances of authentication server. We have only two instances of authentication server. Now this authentication server is using the secret key to sign the token, to generate and sign the token, right? And this secret key, you can see, is shared among all these servers, these all instances of resource or this authentication server, right? Now when any user wants to log in, then the request will go to this authentication server, and after that the request will directly go to resource server. Now this resource server, what it can do is it is going to use this shared secret key, and it is going to simply verify the token. It is going to validate that token, and if the token is valid, it is simply going to return the resource. So you see, there is no direct dependency of this authentication server. So suppose if this authentication server goes down also, then the traffic from, let's say, this resource server 1 goes to this authentication server 2. So there is no issue. And suppose if this authentication server goes down also, there you can see there is no dependency. There is no dependency on this authentication server because this resource server is having this secret key, and it can verify, it can validate the token itself. So there is no direct dependency on this authentication server. Okay. So we have removed the dependency, we have decoupled the system, right? Now you see that here we are not maintaining any kind of information about the currently logged in system. We are simply using one token, and that token is containing the information of the logged in user, is actually containing like ID, name, and roles of the currently logged in user. And if we just need to validate, we just need to verify that particular token, and that's it. Okay. Now in this particular architecture, you see that we have solved the problem that we were facing in the scaled session architecture, right? So in this server was dependent on the session storage. Now we have removed that, but in this problem is that new problem is that if any one of the if any one of these server is compromised, okay, and this secret key actually is compromised, then uh, attacker can actually take control of all the system, because you see that this is the shared key and it is used among all the servers that are present. So it is used in this whole architecture. So that is the problem. Okay, that is the problem with this architecture. This architecture, you can say, is the symmetric key architecture, because we are using one key for signing and verifying the uh, token. Okay, now let's see this particular architecture. This is asymmetric key architecture. In this we are going to have two different keys. We are going to have two different keys. We are going to have this private key and the public key. Okay, so we have two different key. So authentication server going to use this private key to sign the token, and these resource server are going to use this public key to verify the token. Okay, right? Okay, so now you see that over here we have two different keys. We have a key pair, private and public key. So this is a lot more secure than this shared key architecture, right? Because we don't have to share this private key, uh, that's why you can say it is more secure. It is, this private key is with authentication server only, right? So this is the asymmetric key architecture, and this is the widely used architecture when we talk about the token based authentication, right? So this is widely used architecture. So if you like this particular video, then don't forget to press the like button and also share with your friends. And if you are new to this channel, then do subscribe to this channel for more such content. I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for watching.